Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us at this information session today. The BNet Learning team, we appreciate you and we are delighted to have you here today. BNet Learning is a global learning platform built upon a passion to see individuals and organizations grow and excel. We provide a world-class and consistent source of relevant knowledge and expertise needed to thrive in the highly competitive human capital market. At BNet Learning, we don't just train, we coach and we mentor. My name is Chinenye Umunna, Director of Finance at BNet Learning, and I am super excited to be your host for this information session. We have a keynote speaker today and 3 guest speakers who will be sharing their BA experience with us. So sit back and let's go on this learning journey together. A few things to note as we proceed. All participants will be muted throughout this information session. Please use the chat room for your introductions and your comments, and use the Q&A box for any questions that you may have. I'd like us to go into the chat room now and just do a brief introduction. Tell us your name, tell us where you're joining us from. Thank you. And while we keep the comments and the chats coming in and the introductions coming in, I'll go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker for this information session, our very own Damola Folarin. Adedamola is a top-performing multi-credentialed leader with several years of experience participating in multiple enterprise-wide complex and large-scale business transformation programs. As the Director of Learning at BNet Learning, he helps mid-level career professionals navigate through business analysis, project and product management career paths by providing online and in-class training to business analysts, those who are just getting started in their careers, and to organizations to help them establish a functional and value-driven business analysis team. Everyone, let's give a virtual clap as we welcome Adedamola Folarin to take his presentation. Glad to have you here, Damola. You can take it from here.
Thank you so much, Chine. Good afternoon and good morning, depending on where you're joining us. I see that a couple of people are joining from Calgary, all the way from North America, Toronto. I see people from Lagos. I see someone from Victoria, BC, Hako. I see Paul from South Africa. I see Shariti from Pennsylvania. Yeah, so I get a sense of the demographic, and you're all welcome. I know a couple of more people will join us. So I'm going to project my screen now, and we can go straight into the info session. So I guess you all can see my screen. Thanks again, Chine, for the introduction. So not to waste much time, I will just skip introductions, skip the first few slides. I also skip the agenda and just go straight into the meat for today, right? So, I mean, I've been training, so I'm the director of training, like Chine has said, for BNet Learning, and I've been training business analysis bootcamp and business data analytics bootcamp since 2018. And we've had good growth and good success over time. We've been able to mentor people in their careers and just support them through their career journeys. Either you're changing a career or you're coming new into business analysis or just starting up. You know, that's what we do, and we're really excited to see the success that we've been able to record over the couple of years. But again, what's business analysis, right? And I said that because a lot of people come into the boot camp or just approach me to discuss business analysis. But what I see a lot of times is that there's a siloed view in terms of how people view the domain of business analysis. So, I mean, but one of the takeaways that I would like for everyone to part here with today is to have that understanding of what business analysis practice is, what the domain is, right? And hopefully you join the boot camp that will be coming up in August and come through join us through the boot camp, go through the structure, the framework, the tools, the techniques as prescribed by IIBA, and then become certified and become professionally recognized in the community of business analysis. But again, what is business analysis? So I will put it simply, right? And this is not just taken from the BABOK framework. This is just my understanding as a senior business analyst, right? It's a go-between, usually, between the fulfillment and the requesting side of an organization or a practice. But if we go into what IIB has said, IIB has said emphatically that business analysis is a practice for enabling change in an organizational context by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders, right? A lot of times when I engage people within the BA community and even outside of the BA community, people have that siloed view. Like I said, people would typically think that business analysis is all about technology or it's all about implementation. Some people think it's about product delivery. Some people think it's about project management. Yes, in to certain extent they are correct, but business analysis actually the domain sort of supersedes those siloed view. For example, if you can see the slide I'm showing right now, some of us are very lucky and fortunate to be within the role labeled business analysis. But again, one of the takeaways I would like all our attendees to take to patch here, which is that business analysis is not a role, it is a domain of practice, right? It's a broad domain of practice. And we have other roles that sort of dovetails out of business analysis as a broad spectrum. We have management consulting, process analysis. We have people who their roles are also into product delivery, system analysis. Those are technology biased business analysts. We have people who are into customer experience, customer retention, looking at target market, surveyable market, available market and all that, customer satisfaction, people who on a day-to-day, find their roles, talking to customers, understanding customer personas and all that. We have people who are very focused who their focus puts them into requirement engineering. We have the business architect, we have enterprise architects, people who look at the blueprints of an organization, understanding how both the business capability, business assets, and technology framework and technology blueprints can be put together to deliver value to the organization. We have people who also look at data, the data set, the data asset, data integrity, data governance, and they carry out their day-to-day analysis within that spectrum, right? And all these people are qualified to be called BAs, right? And that's why it's a broad spectrum, right? While we have people, like I said, they're fortunate to be called business analysts, it doesn't stop there. And if you're going to take anything away from this info session, I think that's one thing you should take note of. And a lot of times when you have the Certified Business Analyst Professional Certification by IIBA, what you're saying to potential employers is that you have that range, you have that breadth of experience, you can wear multiple hats, right? And you are that valuable. And that's why it's one of the in-demand skills, right? From 2019, 2020, even 2021 by LinkedIn survey. All right. Now, because I've said that, and I'm just trying to really paint a story and take us through more like a journey. Now, because business analysis is a broad spectrum, we have people who have their specialization and who have their area of concerns within the business analysis spectrum. Now, again, from a global perspective and from a framework point of view, you don't want to take that siloed view, like I said, where you think business analysis is about IT, or you think it's about strategy, or you think it's about customer engagement, or you think it's about architecture. It's a broad spectrum, right? And this slide just really does just takes that story home, because it's about 7 blind men and how they interact with an elephant. And you can see the first blind man there, interacting with the trunk of the elephant, and it thinks an elephant is a big snake, right? And you can see the second blind man there touching the leg of the elephant, and it says the elephant is like a big tree or like a tree stump, right? And that's taking the siloed view. And I mean, professionally speaking, And globally speaking, you don't want to take that siloed view. It's a broad spectrum, and it covers a range and breadth of different practices. Right. So again, bringing it back home, right? Everything I've been talking about in terms of what is business analysis and what business analysis is not a role, is not a JD as people would think, like just someone's job description. Is a spectrum, is a broad spectrum of practice, and it allows people specialize in taking based on what works for them, based on what the organization is looking at, based on where they want to take their careers into. And then, I mean, we're going to have further details as I go into the slides. So yeah, I mean, just wrapping this up, it says business analysis requires multiple perspective for holistic understanding. Okay, so I think I've spoken to this. It's not a fixed job, like I said. It's not a single methodology-driven career path. It's not. It's not a career only in technology. Like I said, a lot of people engage me today on LinkedIn and on various social media platforms, and they say that, oh, I'm not aware of. I'm not skilled in IT. I don't know anything about technology. Do you think I can be a business analyst? The answer is always yes. I have trained, mentored people who have become senior business analysts in pharmaceutical, in auditing, in quality assurance, in FMCG, that's fast moving consumer goods. I mean, we have business analysts across different spectrum. So it's not, you don't need to be technology savvy. You don't need to want to come into technology to come into business analysis as a career and to grow on that path. Okay, so again, just speaking to some of the slides that I've put together. So we have business analysts having, seeing themselves in different specializations and different areas of concern, either be it what the organization wants to achieve or what they want to achieve for their own careers. Some BAs today, they are quite strategic in terms of their roles and their day-to-day expectations. Some of those BAs will have roles like management consulting. They find themselves innovating products. They find themselves talking more to strategic objective, talking to product vision, talking to organization or enterprise roadmaps, right? And they are analysts in their own right, and that's their day-to-day. We have some analysts who their focus is majorly on operations, and they look at process optimization, process improvement, product support, release management, early life support, market adoption, and just looking at the customer spectrum and customer journey, and that's what their day-to-day analysis focuses on, market research and all that. And we have some other business analysts like me. I've been a technology business analyst throughout all my careers, even though I've always had different opportunities to work across this other spectrum. There's always a line of a line of alignment or intersection sometimes. So yes, I've done a couple of stuff in operational analysis and strategic analysis, but my core role is really technology focused. So for people like me who are more tactically focused, you will see those roles aligning towards IT business analysis, decision analysis, business rule analysis, user experience, product management, product delivery also, and all that. So yeah, again, just connecting the dots back to where we started from. Business analysis is not a siloed discipline. It's not a role. It's not a job description. It is not IT. It is a broad spectrum, and you can actually make for yourself what works for you within the spectrum or within the practice. So this just still talks to the last slide that I spoke to now. So we have some business slides that are more general, they are more general in terms of how they deploy their skills, their techniques, their day-to-day delivery. So you find them more pruning and shaping technology, training organizations, pruning and shaping organization strategic roadmap. A lot of them are business consultants. Some in the project, from a project perspective, you see them, they are management consultants. They lead BA projects and all that. Some are also business architects, some are enterprise architects, and some are strategic business analysts. Some are quite specialized in their roles, and that will talk to the tactical roles like yeah, an agile business analyst, an IT business analyst, a system analyst, for example, a requirement engineer, a DevOps engineer, you know, or a DevOps analyst. DevOps is just you know, intersection between development and operations, right? Which is also part of the new ways of working, but um, are focusing on that today. So, and then a lot of time, what you see today and what works, you know, within the corporate and even, I mean, just globally, is that BAs are can you hear me? I'm
Yes,
audible.
please.
Yes, we
Yes,
can
go
hear you,
ahead.
Okay.
Damola.
Okay, thanks, Chinere. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, what works today generally is that BAs are required to wear multiple hats, and then you find BAs acting in an hybrid role where, I mean, sometimes you're a BA. For me, I've been a project manager. I've acted in product management. I've been a product manager, you know, just along the trajectory of my career. I've also been a business analyst. A lot of time I've done market research, benchmarking, and all that. I've worked as product owner at some point. I've worked as a scrum master. I've led multiple scrum team, right? So at the core of my job still comes back to business analysis, right? And again, business analysis is very beautiful because it gives you that breadth of competence to actually quickly adapt to different roles, you know, within the product project delivery spectrum. So just still trying to talk to what business analysis is and what it's not. And I think that should bring it home. So just looking to the business analysis career path, I just want to quickly share, give us a bit insight. So IIBA had released, you know, the evolution report for the business analysis practice. And what that report I just said is, oh, business analysis in the digital age and in the new age really looks at how your practice and your skills, competencies sort of, you know, going between technology and business, right? So you say you are business first, or you are technology biased, or so you are somewhere in the middle, basically. And you can see the core BABA, right, is somewhere in the middle there. But I mean, you still have a lot of people who play in the BA spectrum who are quite maybe focused on data. Some of them, they play their roles within data analysis, or looking at data governance, data integrity, and all that, data availability, some model data. And then what is more suited for you is the business data analytics, right? Where you still understand business value. The reason why you are working on data, the reason why you are modeling data, you know, generating insights is for decisions to be taken, and those decisions must be at the end of the day, make business optimal. So, and that's where value is connected back to what you do as a data scientist or data engineer. Also, I have some people who are more focused on the business intelligence, where we are looking at insight generated from the data space, right? Information using different tools that allow you to just bring home and be able to communicate the data in a way that everybody can understand. And then some people are more in the machine learning and artificial intelligence analysis, yes, and they are still BAs. But all that spectrum, they are more technology focused because again, just these are like new ways of working, and they are just some new ways in technology. Some are into cloud or software as a service, application management. Some are even into IT service management, you know, ensuring customers' requests are being dealt, customer complaints being resolved within its, you know, certain service turn to IT systems after some disruption and all that. And they are analysts also, and yeah, they are also BAs in their own right. And we also have cybersecurity analysis, and there's a certification that IIBA recently released, and 1 year, 2 years going now, for both cybersecurity analysis and business data analytics. And then we have the business focus side that talks to business process management, product management, agile delivery, customer experience, design thinking, ideation, and all that. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is like a lot of information coming through, and you're looking at, oh, how do I make that step? For a lot of people in that space, I think it's good to just table it out and speak to it here. So one thing is try to ramp up your BA knowledge by taking certifications, going online to get the knowledge, go on YouTube, go on Udemy, go on Udacity. There are a lot of places you can get the knowledge you need. For we, business learning, we have boot camps that when you join our boot camp, we'll train you, we'll mentor you. A lot of people within our communities that came through the boot camp, they've been able to get jobs, they've been able to actually improve and shaping their okay, so based on the knowledge, you'll be able to get the right experience and then focus on the opportunities and research. I wouldn't talk too much to the certifications now because again, you get all that in the bootcamp. But I'll just quickly want to talk to, okay, so I wanted to show us an information on the new salary survey that IIBA had shown. And it just shows here, what I want to point out here is that for people who have the CBAP certification, they were able to increase their salary by 24% and more. And that just tells you the value in getting the certification. And then also showing you that people from different industries actually certified. We have people from banking, finance, insurance, people from healthcare, government. Again, talking to business side is not a siloed view. It's not a role. It cuts across major spectrum. So as part of our boot camp and you joining our community, we have additional services that are just distinct out in the market. When you join our boot camp, which would typically run for 5 weeks, we have mentoring sessions that follow that. We have the exam preparation module also, which is like a study group, right? We have virtual study groups, and then we help you, prepare you to get, through your interviews, review your CVs and all that. So I think that's all from me right now. Over to you, Chineye.
Thank you so much, Damola. Thank you so much for that insightful session. Thank you. And I'd like to remind everyone that we can use the Q&A box for any questions that we may have, okay? And while we do that, while we write out our questions, I'll go ahead and introduce our first guest speaker for our experience sharing session. Damola will be back much later to answer the questions that we have. So I'll go ahead and introduce our guest speaker, Ezinne Ofebu. Ezinne is a change driver who is passionate about business process improvements that deliver value. She's experienced in engaging and collaborating with cross-functional teams to develop and improve processes which enable better business outcome. An experienced corporate lawyer with a demonstrated history working in the oil and gas sector, she is skilled in contract lifecycle management, business analysis, human resource management, amongst others. Hi, Ezinne, you're welcome to this information session. How are you today?
Hi, thank you.
Okay, let's dive right into it.
Thank you for bringing. All right.
Yes, okay. So let's dive right into it. Please tell us how you started your BA journey and what your current career path is.
Okay, well, first off, I'm a lawyer. My current career path is human resource management. I did a pivot from the legal career to human resource management and business analysis. However, being a lawyer, my career journey with BAs, unknown to me, started in my former work life as an in-house counsel in the oil and gas sector, where the company that I worked for had a lot of process efficiency, cost optimization processes, which came at a level from a corporate strategy level and drilled down to business and then functional level. So I saw myself having to, of course, we had objectives. So I saw myself having to lead a number of manual to automation projects interfacing with the IT department. And I also was part of a team that also had to deal with automations as well. There were a lot of automation because they were on a seamless journey drive, efficiency drive, and that saw me interacting with cross-functional departments and holding my cross-functional skill. But I didn't know I was a business analyst. I was just doing my job. Then I took a career break in 2019 and I took a step back to evaluate where I am and experiences gotten thus far. To do that, I had to validate my experiences with certification. So I went on a journey and I saw business analysis. Well, it's the trend, but I didn't know that that was what I had. And I started researching, got to BNet Learning, just went in blind and only to get there to see that, oh, that's what I've been doing. So that actually helps me on my journey and to understand what I had to do.
Thank you, Ezinne. You talked about certifications and BNet Learning. So I'd like you to tell us, how did you hear about BNet Learning? You're a Certified Business Analyst. How did you hear about BNet Learning? And what was your experience like with the BNet Learning team?
Oh yeah, it was, okay. So when I heard of the BA, and I started searching who training providers are, I went on the IIBA website. And that's where I saw, actually contacted a number of my friends who I saw and past colleagues who I saw had the certification, but I couldn't reach them. So I went on IIBA website and I went for the region Africa, drilled down to Nigeria, and there where I saw the BNet Learning details. And I just gave them a call because I said, if they're on the website, then they are the recommended and approved education providers. So that was how I contacted BNet, and the experience has been fantastic. Damola, I know I still owe you something, but it's the hand-holding. They hand-hold you and give you the confidence. So it's like BNet Learning births you, you know, they actually tell you this is who you are, and it's like it's a vetting process. And by the time you're at the end of the program, you are a business analyst before you write your certification. Yeah.
That's interesting. Can you tell us a bit more about your study and exam preparation process? Any tips, useful tips, things that helped you during that process?
Okay, so after the fantastic facilitator, Damola Folari, has taught, broken it down, hyped you, you are now a BA before the exam, good to go. You actually have to put in the work. You actually have to put in the work based on the guidance and direction from Damola and other people who have done the work, that have had the experiences. So it's not a la crème la pour. You need to understand the concepts. You need to understand the techniques. And for anybody who thinks it's that tough, you would be surprised that BA is all around you in your, even in your personal life. It's actually relatable. So you read, you put in the work, put in the hours, do your simulations, very important. I wrote the first one and I did not make it. So I won't use the word fail because of how it's scored, and it depends on who you write with. And also, however, I take responsibility for not getting it first try because I neglected one business, I neglected one knowledge area. But I went back after feeling bad and going through the whole emotions. I went back, studied harder, put in more hours, and I came through.
That's good to hear, so Ezinne. Congratulations, by the way. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So I have one more question for you. So as someone who is practicing as a newly certified BA, how are you currently connecting the dots between the BABOK framework and your practice?
So like I said earlier, BA is all around you. You'll be shocked that it's in your everyday, is in your everyday work by the time you go through BNet Learning's bootcamp. For me, connecting it was after I wrote my exams. I had a consultancy transaction where it was a fintech for it was a payment solution transaction, and first day on the job, because of the BA framework and the and the knowledge I took in, I hit the ground running because it was clear. It was a solution evaluation challenge with respect, which came as a factor or which came as a problem from their requirements analysis and design. So everything was just clear. There was no guesswork. There was no thinking or confusion. It was just bang, bang, bang. This is where we go. This is how we're going to go through it.
Thank you so much, Ezinne. Any final word or comment or tip from you?
Okay, final word and comments. I would say you have to have a reason. It's not just because BA is a trend. BA is a trend is not enough. How hungry are you? How determined are you? Like Damola would say, there are a lot of noise. It's difficult, it's tough, blah, blah, blah. But focus, be deaf to the noise, and live your dreams and apply yourself. Yeah. So, and then I would say, I know that some people would say being a lawyer. So I'm coming from the lens as Damola has projected, from the business focus, business process lens. That's where I'm coming from, because I have to do a lot of process improvements, which are connected through automations and all that for my company.
Thank you so much.
So don't be afraid and give it your best shot. Thank you.
Thank you, Ezinne. Everyone, we've had Ezinne's closing words. Don't be afraid and give it your best shot. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us at this information session. We're glad that you could join us today. I'll go ahead and take a few questions. Yes. Oh, I can see that Damola already responded to this question, but I'll just read it out for the benefit of any other participant that may have the same question. Ifeo asked, do you help with exposure to practical work experience? And the response is yes, we have hands-on bootcamps / trainings that exposes you to real-life practical scenarios and equips you for the journey ahead. If you would like to get more information about this, please send an email to info@bnetlearning.com and you would get a response with all of the information that you need. Okay? I'll go ahead and introduce our second guest speaker who will also be sharing his experience with us. His name is Yemi Olaniyi. Yemi has over 20 years of work experience in finance, banking, and consulting sectors, and with hands-on experience in credit analysis, business analysis, relationship management, business development, business strategy, enterprise-wide project management, facilitation, and training. Yemi is currently a senior business analyst and business development manager with Augusto Consulting Limited. He is a certified business analysis professional, a Scrum Master and Associate, and a member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria. Oluyemi is happily married with 2 daughters. He is family-oriented. He loves to travel. He loves to offer career and business advisory services, and he loves to make new connections. Hi, Yemi. It's good to see you again, and welcome.
Thank you, Chineye. Good day. Good evening from Lagos.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, we're going to jump right into it. And I'm going to ask you, Yemi, how did you start your BA journey? And, how has that reflected in your current career path?
Oh, thank you. Similar to what the earlier speaker said, my BA journey actually started, I didn't know it, in the course of work. I've been working for like 2 decades right now, and I've been involved in several projects, in terms of project environment. And even some of the things I do on a daily basis, they are always revolving around, business analysis, requirement gathering, engaging stakeholders, right? All those terminologies that we got to know in BA, I only realized them when I went to the class, and I found out that these are the things we've been doing all along, because you try to gather stakeholders to understand their requirements and things like that, and so on and so forth. So I've been doing in course of my job in terms of as a relationship manager in banking. I was actually doing business analysis. I didn't know it. All right. Even by the time, I had to be involved in several projects in the bank, even up to where I am now. I'm in consulting environment now. We do BA definitely on daily basis. Is it benchmarking you want to talk about, or market analysis, or client engagement, and things like that? So that's that for me. But formally, it was when I was exposed to this CBAP and this BA training. It became very active in me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yemi, for your response. So I'd like to hear about your BNet journey. So how did you hear about BNet learning? I mean, you're a certified BA now. How did you hear about BNet learning, and what was your experience like during that process?
Okay, thank you. I had a colleague who were working together in the bank then, so a colleague actually introduced me to BNet learning. We were talking about business analysis, right? In our own department, she was lucky. Our core department then was actually business process reengineering, BPR, business process reengineering, which is they do business analysis on daily basis. But I was a project manager in the mainstream, right? So we're always relating one way or the other. And she just said, she used to call me Mr. Yemi. She said, Mr. Yemi, all the things we are doing, you can actually do, and all that. So that means you are a business analyst as well. I said, what is business analyst? I didn't understand the details of what business analysis was all about, So she now encouraged me to take a CBAP exam, and things like that. I said to myself, how many certificates do I want to gather in this world, right? So what do I want to use that to do, and so on and so forth. She said jokingly that CBAP is the hot cake now, that even people going to Canada is CBAP that they go for. So the moment I had people going to Canada, so to me, it started like, is that a visa to Canada now, jokingly. So she now introduced me to BNet learning in 2018. And of course, I did it not because of Canada material, but of course, I wanted to hone my skill. I wanted to consolidate my knowledge, really. I wanted to be able to justify, to tell people, it's like you've been filled with the Holy Ghost, right? You can preach the Bible, you understand Genesis to Revelation, but you're not a pastor, but just want something to, to justify what you are made of, something like that. So I went for the training in 2018, that's BNet learning. I think you guys were at Parkview then, I enrolled for the program and so on and so forth. But of course, while I was enrolling for the program, and I think I would like the audience to take note of this, the participants especially. While I was enrolling for the program, I took it like any other program, right? Any other training, like on-the-job training. The kind of training that you just travel on the job and you go and enjoy, you go and flange or something like that, right? That was my approach to it. Not that I wasn't serious, but I was combining that with other work and also ongoing projects. Yeah. So while I was in class, sometimes I had to come out of the class to go and take calls or make calls or respond to calls and things like that. I'm sure my facilitator then, Damola, this same Damola was there in 2018. He would take note that this Yemi is always going back and forth. I wasn't playing, only that I was combining that training with other things, right? So at the end of the day, I didn't make meanings, or put it this way, I didn't maximize the opportunity, right? I thought, actually, I took it for granted. I thought it's something I can read and pass. The university days, right? You just cram something and you go and write exam and you pass, and things like that. I thought it's something I could do that way. Until I started doing the practice test, right? Simulation, right? The watermark and the likes, right? I found out that I just told myself, I said, Yemi, you are not ready for this. I'm talking about back in 2018. I just told myself I wasn't ready for this. Long story short, I had to come back to BNet, right? I didn't attend the exam anyway, there was no need. I had to come back to BNet in 2020, last year, to enroll again for the full class. Coincidentally, it was the same Damola that was to take us, and so on and so forth. So I enrolled for the program again in last year, 2020. Though BNet learning, I still wonder why you guys collected the money again from me. After all, I paid money before, I was a returnee, and so on and so forth. So I enrolled for the program, but this time around, I took time off work to attend the program. I gave him my time. I was always asking questions. Damola, I was always troubling Damola, the facilitator in class, and things like that, asking questions, making contributions, and so on and so forth. I was even making some dummy response, thinking that people would say, what are you saying? Like, just say what you know, and things like that, So I gave him my time. And at the end of the day, I think that prepared me for the exam. Of course, there was more to it anyway. You have to take time, you have to practice the watermark, practice simulation, gauge yourself, and so on and so forth. Thank you, Chine.
Thank you, Yinka. I think your last two sentences have actually you've addressed the next question I was going to ask you, and that's about your personal exam preparations, your practice. So you've spoken about practicing watermark and how that you have to be committed personally. So it's not just about your facilitator, it's not just about Damola and all that he's saying in class. It's about you, the individual, how much you're willing to put in, right? How much of that you practice after the sessions. All right. So I'd like to ask you, Yemi, how are you currently connecting the dots, between the BABOK framework and your practice as a newly certified BA?
Oh, thank you. The BABOK has become like my Bible, all right? I make reference to BABOK a lot, right? Why am I doing that? I find a lot of relevance in what I do right now to BABOK, right? Even in this meeting today, many people will have been doing some of those things in the BABOK, especially the techniques, right? I want to zero in on the techniques. The techniques are wonderful, they're interesting. They are not something new. That's something that some of us are already familiar with. We're talking about something like, benchmarking, market analysis, brainstorming, story mapping and things like that, requirement gathering. A lot of us do all this, right? But I, as a consultant, we do this on a daily basis, in terms of engaging clients. Because when you engage clients, you need to scope, you need to understand what client is saying. You need to gather those requirements. You need to engage stakeholders. You need to present that to them so that you get their buy-in, right? So that you have what is acceptance criteria, things like that. You come up with acceptance criteria while you engage your stakeholder and things like that. So for me, I'm applying a lot of the BABOK. Because BABOK is much, is huge anyway. It's very, extensive. But there's a lot of relevance in that, and especially the techniques, right? And the BACCM, BACCM. If you want to understand what BACCM is, just go and do CBAP. Those core concepts, right? I'm finding relevance to them. In short, I'm applying some of those BACCM even in my house. When I'm engaging my children, when I'm engaging even my wife, sometimes my wife will tell me about something like money. I'll behave as if I'm not hearing. I will say, from what context are you talking about? All those contexts, all those scenario and so on and so forth. So it's something very relevant. It's not just for BA work, but in business generally, when you need to do a project or want to embark on an initiative, beginning to the end, things like that. So that's where I've been connecting it in my career. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yemi. Any final words from you?
Okay, I would like to say this. BA as a career, or BA as a profession, or as a field, whatever you want to call it, to me, it's a career leverage. So I'd like you to see it, I'd like people to see it as a career leverage. What do I mean by career leverage? It can take you from where you are now to where you want to be, but you just have to identify yourself, right? You have to identify what you are doing and what's the next chapter for you. The BA role, the BA career, or BA function or field applies to anywhere. That's what I found out. Is it medicine you want to talk about? Is it health? Is it finance? Is it banking? Is it engineering? Is it construction? You find BA everywhere, right? So it's a career leverage. It's a confidence booster for me as well, right? Which can apply to everybody too. You go for BA training, or you have a CBAP, something like that. Your confidence is different, definitely. You speak differently. Even at the interview level and things like that. You just, I would like to share this like as a testimony. Since I put my CBAP on my profile, right, on LinkedIn and the likes, I also went a step further. I didn't just put my qualification there. I tried to fine tune my profile and things like that. I've been getting, you see some recruiters checking your profile, all those profile views, I just keep saying. And some also send you actually interviews, right? They ask you whether you're interested in a certain job and things like that, if you can do it, and so on and so forth. Even last week, a company still contacted me to come and work on the project, like an engineering project, and so on and so forth. So that's what it can do for you, really. But check yourself, understand yourself, know how you are wired. I would like to encourage you, because it's not like it's a silver bullet. Understand how you are wired, especially ability to write the exam and pass, right? You need the training to pass the exam.
Yeah.
Or put it this way, the training will help you pass the exam, all right? I took it for granted. I thought I could just read and pass, but I needed the training. The training will give you the practical relevance. How do you connect the dots? Why Damola was taking us, really, Damola was able to tell us, his approach in class was that I was asking one by one, Yemi, what is your current role? What were your previous roles? What were the previous roles that I've occupied before? They started saying, okay, I was a relationship manager, I was a branch manager, and things like that. They will ask the next question. As a branch manager, what were you doing on a daily basis? How were you engaging team? How were you engaging? Things like that. So in the same way, find out the next chapter for your career and see how you can plan for that and things like that. In my CBAP training, really, exam, I make sure I spend minimum 3 hours daily. Take note of this. It depends on how you read, how you assimilate fast. I spent minimum 3 hours daily reading CBAP, reading BABOK, right? Yeah. Anytime I miss in the morning, I make sure I cover up in the evening time, right? So within 2 weeks, I was able to cover almost the entire BABOK itself. BABOK is about 400 pages, the content part of it. The others are just like appendices and glossaries and things like that. In 2 weeks, you may read it if you are disciplined, all right? Do another 2 weeks, right? You are done it like twice in a month, So what is left for you is to go and do the simulation and things like that. I used to do simulation morning and evening, morning, evening. In short, the first watermark that I bought, I was sharing it with one of my colleagues then that we did CBAP together. She would do it in the morning, I would do it in the evening. She would do it in the morning, I would do it in the evening, and things like that, and so on and so forth. Then at the time, when I was getting tired, I started focusing on K, right? I was doing my simulation KA by K. There are 6 Ks, right? In the exam, right? Doing K by K, it helped me a lot, right? I just mastered. It's like saying, let me focus on New Testament of the Bible for Christians. Don't let me focus, things like that, and so on and so forth. And it helped me in a way. Thank you, Tine.
Thank you so much, Yemi, for sharing your experience with us. Thank you so much, Yemi. Hi, Omolara. I can see that you have a hand raised up. If you have a question, please type it out in the Q&A box. If you have a comment, you can use the chat room for that. We will not be taking any live questions during this information session, okay? I have a question here, Damola, and I'd like you to take this. It says, hello, BNet. I'm currently starting my career in BA. I was formerly in human resources management, but in January this year, I started a program in applied business analysis in the University of Manitoba. We'll be through with my program in December. What are the chances of getting a BA job in Nigeria? Damola, can you speak to this, please?
Okay, thank you so much, Chinere. And I like that he has taken some positive direction with regards to your career path by taking up a university program in applied business analysis. I think that what typically happens is that the job space is a competitive space and we're all trying to distinct ourselves. So you might not, there's no direct answer to ascertain or to give you assurance that you're going to get a job. But the truth is, if you do the right things, and you'll be ready for the right opportunities, right? So I would say that, added to that undergraduate or graduate program that you are running, getting the CBAP certification, it's more like having the real go-to market strategy to your career, right? Because you are going to distinguish yourself because you have an academic degree and now you have a professional certification that is globally recognized. Definitely, you're on the path to getting a job or to becoming valuable to potential employers. Yeah.
So essentially, this person has increased chances of getting a BA job. That in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Damola. Thank you for that response. And I'll go ahead and introduce our last guest speaker for this information session, who will be sharing her experience with us as well. Her name is Jane Osenwige. Jane is an experienced product manager and a certified business analysis professional with over 9 years of experience in the financial, energy, and technology industry. Hello, Jane. You're welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you, Chini. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So can you tell us what are the benefits, some of the benefits that you have enjoyed? As someone who is a certified BA, can you tell us?
Alrighty, thank you, everyone. I'm so happy. I'm so excited to be here today. So I have the plethora of benefits, but I'm just going to talk the one that pertain to me, my personal experience of being a certified BA. So first is the professional credibility that you get as well. So I'll take, for instance, a recruiter put up a job posting out there. You have X amount of experience as a BA and a category A, you have a certified business analysis professional. And the other, maybe the other job hunter as well is also applying for a job as well. And he or she has a experience, but doesn't have a certified business analysis professional certification. So tell me, which one do the recruiter pick? We have to go for the CBAP certified. So that's what certification does to you, is that it demonstrates your commitment to superior professionalism. It shows you that you have the industry standard. So as a recruiter, if I'm a recruiter, for instance, I'll go for someone who has a CBAP certified, because I already know that this person can truly demonstrate that industry standard we are looking for in our organization. Then secondly, as well, increases your earning potential. My current role, when I did a series of interviews, so when the recruiter called me, hey Jane, you got this role, we're excited to have you here, this is the X amount of money we'll be offering you as well. So I was, because of the certification I have and the training and the experiences, I could be able to back it up that I think I could get this money. No, she was saying that, no, this is the budget. So I said, no, this is what I want as well. So with certification, you could be able to negotiate. She said, okay, I'm going to call you back. I'm going to call you back for X amount of time. So she did call me back, and she actually gave me okay with the offer that I'm offering as well. So certifications help to increase your earning capacity as well, any potentials. You can able to negotiate more for on the role. And thirdly, as well, it improves your career opportunities. So I get a lot of comments, a lot of insight from recruiters. Hey Jane, we have this current openings as well. Are you interested? I get some feedback as well. I'm looking to this training opportunities as well. Are you interested in this as well? So that's what certification does to you. Also improve your career opportunities, increase your earning capacity, and also boost your morale, and also give you that professional credibility that you want. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane. I would like you to talk to us about your certified. What was the exam preparation process like for you? Can you speak to that?
All right, okay, thank you. So, well, I would say when I saw the BABOK, we have to study the BABOK, over 500 pages. I was shocked. I said, can I do this, Jane? Can you do this? But trust me, you have to study the BABOK. So what I did, I had teams. I have some teams that I'm working with as well. We're studying together, working partners. My team members of work. We're also studying together, and also I had some set of people who were also preparing for the exam. So we're studying together. So first, what I did was did a breakdown. So what I did was to analyze the 6 knowledge areas. In the 6 knowledge areas, I wrote on all the tags and all the inputs and outputs as well. So that will be able to, when I studied the BABOK, that gives me an in-depth understanding of, okay, this knowledge area, so that this is the input and output as well. Then I studied the techniques, because I understand that some of the techniques are quite similar. A lot of questions come from techniques as well. So I studied BABOK over more than 4 times with in-depth knowledge. I concentrate more on the techniques, because questions come from techniques as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. So what would be your advice to non-certified and non-trained BAs? If you had a word or two to say to them, what would that be?
Okay, thank you. Well, I would say business analysis is used these days. Business analysis is used in every industry, whether you're in automobile, you're in finance, you're in energy sector, technology sector as well. So it's used everywhere. And the job market is set to explode. So there's so much to be tapped in the job market as the business analyst. And every year, organizations are coming with strategy to know that strategy to identify the benefits of being a business analyst. So this is there's no more better time for you to be a certified trained business analyst as of now. So for you I will encourage you to jump into the market and own it, and be deeply rooted about it.
Thank you. Jump into the market, own it, and be deeply passionate about it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jane. Any final words from you? Any other?
Well, I would say, I know there's a lot of things going on out there, personal lives, our career journey as well. I just want to say that life for none of us has been a crystal stair. We just need to keep moving. We need to keep moving, and we need to keep working. So by all means, just keep moving and just keep trusting and keep being optimistic and have a positive and believe in yourself that you can do it.
Believe in yourself that you can do it, have a positive attitude, and keep moving. Okay, thank you so much, Jane. Thank you for coming on this information session. Thank you for sharing your experience with us as well. I have a question here. And Damola, I'll direct this to you as well. It says, what are the opportunities within the BA sector for immigrants? What are the opportunities within the BA sector for immigrants? Damola.
Okay, thank you, Chine. So I would say that business analysis is a global practice right now. Like I said, LinkedIn report, survey report for 2019, 2020, and I'm very sure and optimistic that for 2021, business analysis will be part of the in-demand skills, right? And what does that mean? It means that wherever you go globally, if you have the certification, you can actually you can speak the language. You can you actually appear that you've distinct your career and you're able to get the opportunity. So for people immigrating, whether you're leaving Nigeria to go to Canada, you're going to UK, getting the business analyst certification by IIBA would distinct you, will make you, make people recognize your professionalism and will trust you to be able to deliver on the job. So yes, it's a positive add-on to your profile.
Okay, thank you, Damola. I have got another question here for you. It says, I am a stranger to the field of business analysis. Although I have heard about it, will I ever understand it? I wish to acquire some form of knowledge of business analysis. Am I required to have any prior experience or academic qualification? This is from Bukola.
Okay, hi Bukola, thank you. So the business analysis certification is actually has a structure in terms of different certification levels based on your experience. The CBAP requires that you have 5 years experience or 7,000 hours interaction with business analysis. And then we have the CCBA that requires lesser 3 years and I think 5,000 hours certification. However, now the bootcamp that we have in BNet, that we're talking about, and that this information session sort of relates to is for the CCBA and the CBAP, which is 3 years or 5 years. But there are other certification that's also targeted to people who are coming, just maybe out of school or coming newly into business analysis and they have no prior experience or understanding of business analysis, which is the ECBA, which is the entry certification in business analysis. So but you can still talk to us more. We're able to do an assessment, a career assessment, and then guide you and direct you on the right certification you should be looking at. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Damola. Any closing words or final words from you?
Okay, thank you, Chine, for the coordination and hosting. I would say that there is no better time than now. And I like just to go back to what Yemi had said during his presentation. Having the business analysis certification added to your profile distincts you among the multitude. People reach out to me. I've had my CBAP since 2016. People reach out to me every day. I'm assessing whether it's an opportunity I like or I'm passing to somebody within our community, right? So yes, you are spotlighted and you'll be surprised the boundaries that you've broken by getting certified. People reach out to you from Australia, from Canada, from UK, because you have a globally recognized and accepted certification. So I would say there's no better time than now. Take the BT Byte, register for the bootcamp. We're able to support you and ensure that you hit those milestones along your career journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damola, for coming on this information session. Thank you again, Ezinne. Thank you, Yemi. Thank you, Jane, for sharing your experience with us. Before we shut down this event, thank you everyone that has attended. We appreciate you and we're glad that you could join us. Before we shut down, I'd like to talk to us about our upcoming CBAP bootcamp. Damola mentioned it in his closing remarks, and it's going to start the 1st of August and run through till the first weekend in September. All right, you've heard Ezinne, Yemi, and Jane talk about their experience, especially with exam preparation and the BNet learning team and the amazing team of facilitators that we have here at BNet. So if you would like to enroll for this bootcamp, please send an email to info@bnetlearning.com. info@bnetlearning.com. Remember, at BNet Learning, we don't just train you, we coach and we mentor. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for joining again. Just to remind us that the recording for this information session will be available at our BNet Learning YouTube page. So if you haven't subscribed to that page yet, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you can know once that recording is shared. You can stay connected with us on social media through our various social media platforms. The link will be shared in the chat room shortly. We're on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter. All of the links will be made available in the chat room shortly. Thank you so much for joining. From me and the entire BNet Learning team, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you and we hope to see you at future events. The link has now been shared in the chat room, so you can click any of the links to connect with us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on this info session. See you soon. Bye-bye.